Hey guys, happy hump day. We are 10 days into this challenge. I see that you guys are killing these workouts. I'm so excited to see so many of you consistently getting up early in the morning, working out late at night, whenever you can get it in. It is so awesome to see. So I did want to touch a little bit on exercise just to make sure that for those of you who are working out regularly, that you are getting the most out of your workouts, because there's definitely some strategy to this. I don't want you just going in blindly, and there is a lot of information out there in working out, so just kind of want to hit some of the basics today with you. So first of all, general recommendations are that adults should be working out 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity cardiovascular activity. So that breaks down to about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If your workouts are at a higher intensity where you feel like your heart rate is really getting up there for majority of the workout, you can actually have that to 75 minutes. And also on the opposite, if you feel like your workouts are lower than a moderate pace, then you may need to work out even longer to get the health benefits. As far as strength training, you should be doing 2 days a week, hitting all your major muscle groups. So shoulders, chest, back, abs, glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves. I think I got most of them. You want to be hitting each muscle group at least once a week. Okay, so I hit on this a little bit last week in my video when it comes to muscle mass. And I know that a lot of people, especially if you're just starting off with exercise, I think people tend to gravitate towards cardio, getting on a treadmill, walking, which again is great activity, but I do want to make sure that you are trying to incorporate some strength training. Again, I'll hit on cardio in a minute. Cardio is great at burning calories at the time of exercise, but it's not so great at burning calories when we're at rest. That is what muscle is for. So the more muscle we have, the more calories we burn throughout the day, even when we're not being active. And majority of you in here are women. Like I mentioned, it is a lot harder for women to build muscle and maintain muscle because of the different hormones that we have. So we have to work like extra hard to be able to put on muscle. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be going in the weight room and, lifting like bodybuilder type stuff. This can be body weight activities. It can be using resistance bands, even just some light free weights. If you have some 5 pound, some 8 pound exercises that you can do at home, workout videos. So there's lots of things that you can do, even if you're, going on a walk and you stop every so often and just do some squats or lunges, modified push-ups even against the wall if you're just starting out. There's always modifications that you can get in that extra little bit of strength training into your workout. Just doing some easy bicep curls at home, some tricep presses, just anything to get your muscles engaged to start building that muscle. That is going to help fuel your metabolism so you don't have to work as hard working out all the time. So I want you to be working smarter, not harder, okay? So adding in the strength training is definitely going to help with that. If you need more suggestions on that, or just very confused at where to start with strength training, come and see me individually and let me give you a few suggestions, just because I know we have people at all different levels in here. Okay, I also want to talk about cardiovascular activity too. So if to this point you have been doing pretty steady state cardio, I'm going to encourage you to start to add some interval training. If you've never heard of high intensity interval training, it will do your body good. So like I said, cardiovascular activity, you actually don't burn a lot of calories during exercise. If you've ever paid attention to your watch, you might think like, gosh, I've been working my butt off. I've been walking out here for an hour and I've only burned 200 calories. And, that's doesn't even cover like my dinner roll. So yeah, it doesn't really burn a lot of calories at the time of activity, but you can do things to increase the afterburn. And so that is where the interval training comes in. Now you can get really technical into this and get into heart rate zones. You can just kind of go by how you feel, or if you're wearing a watch or Fitbit, you can kind of monitor this a little bit more closely. Y'all may have noticed I post some things for my workouts at Orange Theory. That's a workout that really closely monitors heart rate and making sure that your heart rates are getting in the proper zones to kind of hit this what's called afterburn. So this is something you can do. You don't need to be a member of a gym per se. You just have to add some intervals. So it's altering those periods of steady state cardio with a minute and a half of a high intensity where it feels a little uncomfortable, and then you go back down to your steady state for a recovery of, let's say, another minute or 2 minutes. Just your intervals could vary, but what this does, if you can get 12 to 20 minutes in a higher intensity heart rate zone to where you're breathing heavy and you start to feel your heart rate go up where you are a little uncomfortable. If you can total over your workout 12 to 20 minutes in that higher zone, you're gonna get what's called afterburn. And so that's gonna burn more calories in the next 16 to 36 hours after you're done with your workout. And so basically what's happening is your muscles are filling with lactic acid, and it's depleting the body's oxygen stores. And so the body has to work like extra hard to replenish those oxygen stores, which means that it's going to be burning more calories. It takes about 16 to 36 hours to do that. So I really encourage you to incorporate interval training. So again, if you're walking on the track or you're walking on the treadmill, walk for a minute at kind of a steady state pace, and then pick up the pace for a good minute, and then go back down to your steady state pace, and then pick up the pace for a minute. If you're on a recumbent bike, you can crank up the resistance. On the elliptical, you crank up the resistance. On the treadmill, if you feel like you can't necessarily increase your pace anymore, you can always increase the incline. So there's lots of ways to do this. You can really do this on any type of equipment that you're working on, even if you're walking outside, running outside. You go from a light jog to an all-out sprint for 30 seconds, back down to your regular jog pace for another minute, 2 minutes, and then all-out sprint for 30 seconds. And so you'll start to get more comfortable with that. But I definitely suggest incorporating that HIIT training into your workouts to fuel that calorie burn long after you're done with your workout. You're gonna get a lot more out of your workouts, and you're gonna see your results a lot quicker. And then last little thing here, I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but I also encourage you guys, as we're a week and a half in, when you get to about the 4-week mark, you need to be changing what you're doing. Your body adapts very quickly to exercise, so it becomes really familiar with the workouts, and it starts to not work as hard. So in other words, you're not gonna burn as many calories. So for instance, if you start off walking, say, around the block, and it took you 10 minutes to walk around the block, and at first you're huffing and puffing. Well, now 4 weeks into it, you're walking around the block and it's only taking you 7 minutes and you're barely breaking a sweat. That's great, because that means you're getting in shape, your heart's getting stronger, your body's getting stronger, but it also means you're burning less calories. So you constantly have to be kind of changing up your workouts, trying new things. So again, if you're starting off and you haven't exercised in a long time, maybe you're just getting in your cardio right now, at that 4-week mark, definitely start thinking about how you can incorporate that strength training just to switch things up with your body, so on and so forth. So hopefully you find this helpful. And again, if you need any more, kind of more in-depth ideas, just get with me whenever you have time, and I'd be glad to help you out. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.